Welcome to the Gigalife. Your passions, your stories, your life, simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Gigalife in just one tap. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's D1? Simple, smart, ako.
Napatalsik na po ang defending champions at ngayon ay dethroned champions Los Angeles Lakers sa NBA playoffs. Pambihira. Yan po pagkatapos silang talunin ng Phoenix Suns kahapon at talagang wala. Lopsided. Tinambakan. Walang kalaban-laban. And of course, hindi naman natin masisisi dahil ang daming injury. But again, injuries are part of the playoffs. Kaya kahit papano, you've got to work through it. Yan po at marami pang mga balitaan. At nag-iinit na talakayan. Pag-usapan po natin ngayong Sabado ng umaga. Di paano? Bangon na! Power and play na. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat mga kapatid. Ako po si Noli Iyala. Ito po ang Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay at ng Cherry Loom. Ang yerong may aluminum. Work from home muna tayo ngayon habang pinapaganda pa natin ang ating gagamiting studio para sa susunod na linggo. Kaya dito po muna tayo pero tuloy-tuloy po ang balitaan at huntahan. At napakarami po nating ihahatid sa inyo ngayong araw pong ito. Nabanggit ko na nga yung NBA playoffs. Tapos na po ang matchups sa East for the second round. Samantalang sa West, isa na lamang ang laban na gaganapin. Ito po yung Clippers versus Mavs ngayong araw na ito. At kung mananalo ang Mavs at home, sila po ang papasok at makakalaban nila yung pong naghihintay na lamang na Utah Jazz. Kaya magandang laban po yan mamaya. Or rather, hindi. Ang kanilang makakalaban pala ay, tama, Utah Jazz mamaya sa susunod na round. Of course, marami pa po tayong tinututukan na mga balita. May lumabas pong balita ngayong umaga, very, very fresh. Si Marjeline Didal, yung pong ating skateboarder, ay pumasok na po sa Olympics, sa Tokyo Olympics. Siya po ang magiging ika-10 nating atleta sa Tokyo Olympics. Although unofficial pa, i-announce dan po yan ng kinaukulan, and this will be done after the World Championship Finals sa Rome. Pero dahil po siya ay rumango na number 13 out of the rankings, 16 po ang papasok sa Tokyo. Siya po ay nag-qualify na patungo sa Tokyo Olympics. Congratulations kay Marjeline Didal, ang ating skateboarder na ngayon ay may tsansang makakuha ng ginto ng medalya sa Tokyo Olympics. Pambihira. Ang dami na. Ang dami na nating mga atleta. Karamihan, babae. At patuloy po na may mga papasok ba dyan. Alam natin yung mga golfers natin yan. Kaya po, himayin na natin at balikan natin lahat po ng ating mga balita ngayong linggong ito sa pamamagitan ng ating Sports Weekly Highlights. Lunes, balik Pilipinas na ang Filipino basketball wonderkind na si Kai Sotto. Nandito siya para tuparin ang kanyang commitment sa Gilas Pilipinas na sasalang sa FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers at Olympic qualifying tournament ngayong buwan. Mamaya pag-uusapan natin sa Fast Take ang Gilas status ni Kai. Miyerkules, inanunsyo ng Shiga Lake Stars ng Japan B.League. Naku, ito yung mainit na pinag-usapan na bahagi na ng koponan ang Filipino basketball star na si Kiefer Ravena. Pero sabi ng PBA, teka, hindi po pwede yan. Yan daw ay dahil under contract pa si Kiefer sa NLEX Road Warriors. At sa ilalim ng Uniform Players Contract o UPC, Kailangan ng go signal ng PBA bago makapirma sa ibang team si Kiefer. Ano na kaya ang magiging resulta ng issue na ito? Huwebes, balitang PBA pa rin, pero ito tungkol naman sa muling pagbubukas ng liga. Ayon kay Commissioner Willie Marshall, Inares Center sa Antipolo o Inares Arena sa Pasig ang mga posibleng venue ng opening ng PBA. Bagamat wala pang final plan, sabi ni Marshall, na late June or early July ang posibleng pagbubukas ng liga. Biyernes, goodbye Lakers at goodbye Blazers. At on to the next round na ang Phoenix at Denver. Pasok na rin sa second round ang Utah at hinihintay na lang ang mananalo sa Clippers-Mavericks matchup. Sa East, buo na ang second round cast. Philly laban sa Atlanta, Brooklyn Nets laban sa Milwaukee Bucks. At ngayong araw, Sabado, magsisimula ang Gilas Women's Tryouts na gaganapin sa California. Maya-maya, makakausap natin live ang mismong Gilas Pilipinas Women's Coach, Pat Aquino, para kamustahin ang tryouts na yan. Yan po ang ating mga balitaan this week in our sports highlights. Nako talagang ang dami pong nangyayari na kasi dahan-dahan na po talagang bumubukas na ang mga palaruan. And of course, ang inaabangan na natin ang PBA at pinag-uusapan natin ang PBA. Nabanggit ko nga, yung napakainit na issue tungkol kay Kiefer Ravena. Si Kiefer po ay pumirma, di umano, sa isang kontrata dyan sa Japan B.League. Alam naman natin na si Kiefer ay meron pong live contract sa kanyang koponan na NLEX Road Warriors. Alam niyo po, under the UPC, ayan po'y sagrado. Ayan pong pagkakabuo niyan. Pero yan pong kontrata ng UPC, hindi lang po yan between the team and the player. Yan po, kasama dyan ang PBA. Bakit? Ang UPC po, hindi po pwede yung magkaroon ng visa kung walang paglalaroan. At ang PBA po ang nagbibigay ng approval o sanction sa UPC. Dahil kung kahit magpirmahan kayo, kung hindi ho papayagan ng PBA, hindi po kayo makakalaro ng professional basketball. Pangalawa po, ang UPC ang nagbibigay ng unique element sa professional league. Kaya po yan ay sagrado. Hindi po pwedeng basta isang tabi dahil sa usapan ng dalawang partido sa kontrata. Although legally, yan po ay kontrata, that is an agreement between the parties, pero kasama po dyan implicitly ang PBA. Kaya po, mainit yung usapin na yan. Ang kailangan po ay kaagad pag-usapan ng PBA yan, magdesisyon at gumawa ng hakbang because this will create a precedent para po sa mga susunod na mga taon, season at mga player ng PBA. Kaya po ang ating pupulsuhan ngayon pong araw na ito ay tungkol dyan. Ang ating pupulsahan ay dapat bang payagan ng PBA si Kiefer Ravena na maglaro sa Japan B.League. Again, ulitin ko po yan. Dapat bang payagan ng PBA si Kiefer na maglaro sa Japan B.League? Ako po sa ganang akin we welcome players playing abroad. Naku, napakaganda pong programa yan. Because in the end, babalik po yan at babalik sa ating bansa para mabigyan ng magandang laro ang Pilipinas. But again, yan po ay dapat ilagay sa tamang konteksto. Lalong-lalo na kung kayo ay pumirma ng isang kontrata. So kung gusto niyo po makipagtalakayan sa amin, mag-text lamang sa aming hotline 0949-691-4956 o di kaya mag-post sa aming Facebook page, Power and Play with Noli Iyala, sa 1PH Facebook page at sa Radyo 592.3 News FM. At mamaya po, babasahin namin lahat niyang inyong mga komentaryo at ang inyong pong mga opinion. Alright, pinag-uusapan ang opinion. Nako syempre, ano pa ba nga ba? Di ipasok na natin kagad ang ating usapang fast take. Kung saan ang opinion po ng ating mga kaibigan sa hanap buhay ang mahalaga. At ngayong araw pong ito, tayo maswerte na tayo po'y sasamahan ng isang balik fast taker mula sa ESPN5, si Eros Villanueva at ang isang bagong-bagong fast taker mula naman sa tiebreaker time, si Justin Bacnis. Good morning, Eros and Justin. Thank you. Salamat sa inyong pagbalik. Hindi, si Justin, nakasama ka na sa amin dito, no, Justin? Ha?
Actually, first time ko pa lang po talaga.
First time. Okay, alam mo, sa dami na nang nakausap natin dito, mga bagong writers, talaga tayo ay nalilito. Alright, very good. Thank you for joining us this morning, Eros and Justin. Unahin ko muna ikaw, Eros. I was talking about the playoffs ng NBA. Wala na si LeBron. First time na walang LeBron at Steph in the finals. Sa tingin mo ba, nakabawas ito sa legacy ni LeBron?
I don't think so. I think yung legacy po ni LeBron has long been set in stone. I guess additional na lang na bonus yung undefeated siya in the first round of the playoffs. And lalo na po ngayon with the short turnaround this season, his team, the Lakers, only had 70 days after after they won the championship. So I think it's pretty much warranted. I mean, yes, injuries are part of the game, and injuries certainly swayed the series in the favor of the Suns. But I think this will help him improve his legacy pa kasi additional rest for him in the offseason is certainly going to benefit King James.
Ika nga, short-term pain for long-term gain, and hopefully they come back stronger next year. Madami kasing fans ang LA dito sa Pilipinas. Justin, ang balitang tumambag sa atin this morning, Marjeline Didal will enter the Tokyo Olympics. Gaano kalaki na naman ito para sa Pilipinas? And of course, anong sa tingin mo ang chances ni Margie dyan sa Olympics?
First off, congratulations kay Marjeline kasi, actually I was caught by surprise when I heard you po na binalita niyo na si Marjeline na nakapasok. I think pang-10 po yata siya na Olympian na papasok for the Tokyo Olympics. So, as far as chances are concerned, I'd like to believe na malaki yung opportunity natin na maka-podium finish or maka-medalya tayo sa Tokyo. Given yung experience at yung mga inilaro ni Margie ngayong taon po.
Alright, well, alam natin na si Marjeline, napakagaling na skateboarder, winner of the gold medal, of course, sa SEA Games, and malaki ang chance natin. Of course, again, babae na naman yan, and really, the women are dominating Philippine sports. Nako, pinag-usapan natin ng women. Yuka Saso is doing very well dyan sa US Women's Open. Alright, let's begin our fast take. Justin, alam na nito ni Eros pero dito sa fast take, ang opinion nyo ang mas mahalaga. Ika nga, bato-bato sa langit, tamaan, wag magagalit, walang mali, walang tama, opinion nyo lamang ang inyong sasabihin. Alright, ang ating unang issue for the morning. Sabi ko nga, buhay na buhay ang NBA playoffs. Halos patapos na tayo ng first round. So ang unang issue, ano sa inyo ang most surprising storyline ng first round playoffs ng NBA? Eros, I'll begin with you. 1 minute. Go!
The most surprising storylines for me have to be the individual greatness of 4 players. First off, in the East, andun po si Trae Young with the Atlanta Hawks. In 5 games rather, he just exploited every weakness, every hole in the New York Knicks defense, which in the regular season was one of the best defenses in the NBA. Doon naman po sa Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis, medyo mid-league numbers, pero if you look deeper, 23 points, 15 rebounds, and tremendous shooting, and then exercising the demons that is the Miami Heat. Very, very fine performance. In the West, I think si Nikola Jokic with 33 points and just being the hallmark of stability for the Denver Nuggets na walang Jamal Murray and Will Barton. And then, of course, with the Dallas Mavericks is Luka Doncic. He's averaging 35 points and nearly a triple-double against 2 of the best defenders in the NBA today. With big markets gone, with the Lakers and Boston Celtics gone, I think this would be the greatest opportunity for the NBA to continue marketing its next generation of superstars that will carry the brand for the next 2 decades.
Kinakabahan na ako sa'yo dahil si Trae Young, alam mo naman ako, Philadelphia 76er fan ako. And I know how good Trae Young is. I've had him in my fantasy league teams. Tinututukan ko yung mga statistics yan and he's so good. Kaya ako, pero syempre, I'm still looking at my Philly 76ers to go all the way. Alright, Justin, same question. Ano sa iyo ang most surprising storyline ng first round ng NBA playoffs? 1 minute, Justin. Go!
For me, it's the Bucks Heat series. Kasi we all know naman what happened in the bubble last season. The Heat 1-5. So kaya ganun na lang yung kagustuhang bumawi ni Bucks ngayong taon. I think they had a chance to actually evade yung Miami in the first round of this year's playoffs, but they didn't do so. Kasi gustong-gusto nga nilang gantihan, and that's exactly what they did. And yeah, they swept them convincingly 4 games. And I actually thought na abot ng 7 games yung series, but it did not. And ang X factor for me sa Bucks was really Jrue Holiday. I think 15.3 points, 6.3 rebounds, 9.8 assists. he took so much load off Giannis Antetokounmpo's shoulders, and that allowed the latter na makapaglaro ng mas maayos. As for the Heat, well, COVID protocol really messed the season up kasi ang daming na-disrupt yung flow, hindi sila nakapaglaro lang together ng matagal. It also didn't help na Vic Oladipo opted to undergo a season-ending surgery. So sayang, hindi nila na-sustain yung run nila last year.
Excellent point, Justin. Talagang flying under the radar, so to speak, ang Bucks. Only because they're overshadowed by the overpowering performance ng Nets. Pero they have done so well, and this is a team that's very dangerous. In fact, ako, Bucks Nets, I'm going with the Bucks. I think they will go to the finals, and they will be a very dangerous team in the second round of the playoffs. For me, the most surprising storyline is outside the basketball court. Ang nangyari sa Boston Celtics after they were eliminated, nawala si Danny Ainge. Of course, he retired. Kuno. And of course, Brad Stevens has been replaced as well. Papunta na siya as siyang papalit kay Danny Ainge. I think the Boston Celtics is a proud franchise, and I think they really are looking to get back in the Champions Circle. So, abangan natin yung storyang yan. All right, let's go to our second issue of the morning. Alam naman natin, dumating na si Kai Sotto sa bansa. He is now under quarantine. He is practicing in isolation. Yun daw ang sinasabi nila. But of course, ang naririnig natin is that baka ihabol sa FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. Obviously, he will be in the OQT. Ang ating second issue of the morning, shoe-in na ba dapat si Kai Sotto sa finals qualifier lineup ng Gilas Pilipinas? I will begin with you, Justin. 1 minute. Go!
Yun nga po, according to the SBP po, vaccinated na si Kai. And di ba po, kamakailan lamang may nagpasa po ng batas na kung po pwede, bawasan po yung quarantine period para po sa mga bakunado na. And kung magiging retroactive po yun, I think mapapaaga po yung pagsama ni Kai sa national team. Ini-insist ni Coach Tab na gusto niya ng isang buwan kay Kai para ma-integrate ng maigi sa team. But tingin ko po, pwede siyang ipasok sa lineup against Indonesia. Kasi, po natin, hindi pa po ganun kalakas yung team ni Coach Raiko given na wala si Brandon Jawato. And from there po, pwedeng tansyahin ng coaches kung pwede siyang ipasok sa lineup against South Korea on the 20th. As far as the OQT is concerned naman, kasi shoe-in po yung pinag-uusapan natin, I think fair game na po yun kasi by June 29, makukuha na ni Coach Tab yung hinihingi ng 3 to 4 weeks na practice time mula kay Kai. So, yun po.
Alright, well, the big question of course kay Kai is his conditioning. He probably has not played competitive basketball, so malaking factor yan sa desisyon ng SPP. Same question, Eros, shoe-in na ba dapat itong si Kai Sotto sa lineup ng Gilas Pilipinas for the qualifiers? You have 1 minute. Go!
Well, for me, there are two schools of thought here. On one hand, available so why not isabak na natin? It would be good seeing him pair with Ange Kwame in the front line, and it would be probably nice he can mesh with other elite prospects. If ever he's available in both tournaments, I think Serbia, Dominican Republic, and South Korea would be a good barometer to see how much Kai has improved over the past year and a half. And on the other hand, you can't expect this team to quit. They want to win. They want to be competitive. They want to put up a good fight. In order to do that, they surely have to field a competitive roster that has worked together in the past 2 or 3 months in the Calamba bubble. So that would leave Kai on the outside looking in. Personally, I want to see Kai what he has in the bag with new tricks he has. But it would definitely be hard to go up against SPP's priorities if they want to be competitive. So I think either solution would be good. Although, of course, would not be intrigued with seeing Kai in the front line.
Alam mo talaga, iba ang perspektibo pagdating kung ikaw ay fan. Of course, you wanna see Kai. Matagal na nating iniintay. Ano ba ang laro niya? Kamusta ba siya? Will he gel with the team? And of course, has he improved? But if you're in the perspective of the coaching staff, lalong-lalo na si Coach Tab Baldwin, you want to put in some discipline. You want to set some examples here. And obviously, that's a big challenge to him and to the rest of the team. All I want to see is that Kai Sotto is healthy, and I really want him just on the floor. I know we will see him very soon in a Gilas Pilipinas uniform. Yun lang naman ang ating inaabangan. Alam natin, ang qualifiers will be tough, but we've got a team and we're hosting, so I think the boys will be proud when they play their first game on June 16. All right, let's go to our third and final take of the morning. Naku, yung mainit na pinag-uusapang Kiefer Ravena na pumirma na po sa Japan B.League di umano. And of course, sabi ng PBA, teka, hindi pwede yan kaagad. Pag-usapan natin yan. So ang tanong, Eros, and I'll begin with you, magsiset ba ng bad president or president kung sakaling payagan ng PBA si Kiefer Ravena na tumuloy sa Japan B.League? 1 minute, Eros. Go!
Purely from a contractual standpoint, yes, it would set a bad precedent. We have to emphasize that the uniform players contract is a legally binding contract. Hindi naman po pinilit si Kiefer Ravena pumirma doon sa kontrata na yun. And the PBA letting Kiefer go on a whim would be tantamount to eroding what is, in your own words here today, the keystone of stability in the PBA. But there has to be a middle ground, and the PBA, as the oldest league in Asia, it has to show that it can adapt with the times. It has to look into revising certain policies or introducing new innovations like exit clauses or probably the concept of loans. The PBA has to be progressive. We have to remember that letting our players play international competition is certainly going to raise the ceiling and for Philippine basketball. And also one more thing, the JBA and the B-League has to initiate talks kasi it's FIBA rules. Syempre, procedure pa rin po ito. That's why procedure is in place. We have to follow just to restore order.
Great point. Talagang it's a very sensitive issue and many opinions will come out, and of course, at the end of the day, the parties will have to come down and sit down and discuss this. Justin, parehong tanong, magsiset ba ng bad precedent kung sakaling payagan ng PBA si Kiefer maglaro dyan sa Shiga Lake Stars? 1 minute, Justin. Go!
Yes, ko may agree, it would set a bad precedent. Kasi parang kahit saan naman po tayong pumunta sa mga kumpanya or what, alam naman po natin na hindi po pwede ang dadalawang kontrata. Of course, sa industriya natin, bawal po yun. But, yun nga po, pero kung titignan din po natin mula sa ganung pananaw, paano po kung yung empleyado gusto na pong umalis sa kanya pinagtatrabahuan, yun nga lang po, binded pa siya with some sort of agreement. Minsan po, igagrant na lang yung release ng ganyan and doon na lang po papasok yung tinatawag natin na non-compete clause. And patang curious po talaga ako dyan is ano po yung magiging repercussions nito kay Kiefer kung sakaling bumalik siya at gusto yung lumaro sa PBA. But you know what, kung meron man pong ipinakita sa atin itong issue na to, itong case na to, it has shown us kung gaano naging globalized na ang basketball. And for me, kung ganun man, sana po kung mag-a-amend man po ng rules si PBA, sana po mas maging adapt na into the times.
Very good point. And that's yung sinabi mong globalization, that's exactly my point. Alam mo, wala naman tayo, hindi naman natin kumbaga tinututulan itong plano ni Kiefer. I think it's a terrific opportunity for many of our players na maglaro abroad. Dahil ang basketball is universal. It is global. We really have to allow our players. Ang tanong, and I think the bigger picture here is, bakit ba ang ating mga players ay nagde-decide ng umalis? We have players na kagaya ni Bobby Ray na ayaw pumirma, players na kagaya ni 30 na ayaw munang magpa-draft. And now you have Kiefer leaving his team, wanting to leave. Why? And I think that's the question na dapat tanungin ng PBA sa kanilang sarili. Bakit? And I think when they answer that question, then they will have the right answer for this particular issue. All right, maraming salamat Eros and Justin sa inyong oras. Again, it's been a great morning exchanging views. Stay safe and we'll see you in the courts very soon. Maraming salamat Eros and Justin.
Stay safe, sir. Thank you po.
Yan po mga kaibigan, si Eros Villanueva ng ESPN 5 at si Justin Bacnis ng Tiebreaker Times. Ang ganda, no? Ang daming opinion nila. Yan ang kasarapan ng mga bata. Hindi natatakot magsalita. Yan ang journalist and a real lover of sports. Very, very good. Alam niyo po, pinag-usapan ng sports. Ito pong weekend na to, lumalaban ang ating kababayan na si Yuka Saso, our #1 player and now one of the top-ranked players in the world. Siya po ay lumalaban sa second major ng golf dyan po sa LPGA, yung US Women's Open sa Olympic Club in San Francisco. And after the first round, 2 strokes down lang po si Yuka, and she is in the running doon po sa US Women's Open. Sa aking huling check, Yuka is 1 under for the day, 3 under for the total, and just 3 back sa leader. So we really hope that Yuka can perform well. Obviously, si Yuka, because of her ranking, will make it most probably sa Olympics as well. At pinag-uusapan po ang golf. Well, today we are very proud to have with us, and we will be featuring one of golf's brightest names, and obviously the next big thing na para sa Philippine golf. She is the current national stroke play championship or champion, or otherwise the Philippine Amateur Open champion. Walang iba kundi ang golf prodigy ng Pilipinas. Kasama po natin ngayon si Rianne Malixi. Rianne, good morning. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining Power and Play.
Thank you for having me.
Rianne, how old are you? You're 14 years old? Totoo ba yan?
Apa.
Pambihira, no? I was reading about you, and 8 years old pa lang, nag-golf ka na. You started picking up a club at 8 years old, mga kabataan, 8 years old si Rianne, naglaro na yan, and now you were supposed to compete with the pros, nagkampiyon ka na. Let me ask you first, what do you like and enjoy about playing golf, Rianne?
You see, golf really emphasizes the point of individuality, and it just takes a lot of patience and hard work just to achieve that goal, to win. Then a mental aspect really plays a huge part in the game, and that's what I really liked about the sport.
Wow, grabe! And that's for a young person looking at it from that perspective. Napaka-impressive niyan, Rianne. I know your father introduced you to golf. Your father Roy, and of course, ang kwento-kwento is you saw him and you started. You wanted to play. He bought you a club, and the rest is history. Ika nga. And you're already beating your father, who's a 13 handicapper. So that's pretty good for a weekend golfer. Pero do you remember yung unang mga leksyon na naituro sa'yo at mga payo sa'yo ng iyong ama, Rianne?
From what I remember, he told me na age doesn't matter. And then he said to work hard, have discipline, have the patience to do all the struggles that will come forth in the future.
Mahirap ba na ang coach mo is your father?
I have several coaches po.
Yes, oo nga. But in the beginning, was it difficult to have your father coach you?
No. Since we were really close, since I was little pa po, he took care of me. He's the breadwinner ng family, of course.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's impressive kasi alam mo maraming ama na syempre gusto nilang yung mga anak nila ay makapaglaro din ng golf. Pero sometimes yung mga anak, ayoko makinig sa'yo, mas magagaling yung coaches namin. But I know your coach is Norman Santo Domingo, a renowned coach, especially for kids. Coach Norman is a terrific coach ng mga kids. How much has he helped your game, and what important areas sabi niya ang dapat mong i-focus?
He always told me to be mabait, to be patient, and be kind to others. And then his expertise in teaching me is about my swing. He takes videos of me, and then he actually picked me up in Davao. I played with Ate Yuka, and that's where I really met Coach Norman and got closer with him. And ever since then, he's been teaching me a lot po.
Ang dami mo nang na-achieve in your young age. You're the national stroke play champion. You placed second in the Philippine ladies a few years ago. You are the champion in the Faldo series. And of course, in 2019, ang dami niya na Philippine Amateur Open Match Play Champion, Philippine Junior Amateur Open Champion, and many more. And of course, you also ranked in the Junior World Golf, you finished runner-up in the Junior World Golf. With all of that achievement, where do you find your game right now? Do you think that, or what areas do you think are you improving para lalo ka pang gumaling, Rianne?
To be honest, I wanted to improve my mental aspect in the game since I would consider that as the most important aspect. Then, of course, I would practice pa po to improve several fields in golf, especially my short game and putting. Then I would practice more and stick to my daily routine and take shot by shot.
So when you talk about getting better mentally, anong iniisip mo? Ano ang sinasabi sa iyo ng coaches mo? How do you get to focus a little more?
Well, of course, I would find motivation and start by having good habits. So I would wake up, study, then work out. Actually, during the pandemic, I was lucky to meet my coaches, especially my swing coach, fitness coach, and national team coach through Zoom.
Mhm.
Tapos, when the lockdown was lifted na, I was able to see them in person, and I was very lucky to have some resources.
Well, it was very difficult, obviously, during the lockdown, and I know you were scheduled to play in several tournaments prior to the lockdown, and hindi natuluyan, including playing against professionals. And when you talk about playing against them and playing in these tournaments, it's about competition. Do you feel any kind of pressure? What do you like about competing? Kasi napakahirap yan, especially for a young girl like you na you're still concerned about many other things outside of just playing golf.
I would say I wanted to go out just to expose myself in tournaments since I haven't really played in a tournament for more than a year. Again, pressure, that's really where I really play well since if you get used to that pressure, your mental aspect will become stronger and you will be able to get used to it despite having some butterflies in your stomach.
Well, everybody gets that. I'm sure, and a 14-year-old especially. Rian, let me get to know you a little more. Ang mga fans natin mahilig sa golf ay obviously intrigued by our newest teen prodigy pagdating sa golf. What do you do in your spare time? You're in junior high right now, no? You're homeschooling, correct? Tama ba yun, Rian?
Opo, I'm at 8th grade.
8th grade, wow. And so most of your studies are online? Yan ba ang ginagawa mo?
Opo, I study at Homeschool Global. They provide me the program. Then I get to watch the videos, the lectures given by the teachers.
And so, outside of playing golf, what do you do in your spare time, Rian?
On my leisure time, of course, I would study, I would sketch, and then I would work out. Then I have my family time at home.
Where does your studies fall in terms of your priorities right now? In relation, of course, to playing golf. Sa tingin mo ba, kasing halaga yan ng golf mo or medyo nagrarango na ng konti ng mas mataas ang golf?
I would say I have to balance my studies and golf since schooling is very important to me. It will really help me in my lifestyle. And then I really learned a lot in Homeschool Global.
All right. Well, there is also an article I read that you don't even have a phone. I mean, except when you travel. So hindi ka ba mahilig sa mga social media? Hindi ka ba naglalaro ng mga Mobile Legends, yung mga ganyan, or COD?
I don't really have the leisure time to use social media since I want to make a good habit.
And you feel that the social media or getting into these things are a distraction? Is that your perspective there, Rian?
There are times that social media serves as a distraction for me, especially when I'm practicing. So I do my best to focus a lot in practicing and in schooling.
Impressive. For you, for a young girl to be so focused on what she wants to do, that is, and considering ang daming distractions all over sa atin, no? All around, that is really impressive. Rian, ilang kayo sa pamilya? May mga kapatid ka ba?
I have one sister. She plays the piano right now.
Oh, younger or
younger pa. She's turning 13 on July.
She's not going to follow you and your dad playing golf?
Unfortunately, she doesn't has the ability. She didn't really like the sport.
Okay. Well, at least, ang mami mo naman ang masasiyahan yun dahil at least kasama niya. All right, you've mentioned that one of your idols is Tiger Woods.
Opo.
And alam natin na nangyari kay Tiger, but of course we all know Tiger as the standard and perhaps arguably the best golfer of all time. But anong klaseng mga katangian, the traits that you like, na kaya mo na-idolize si Tiger Woods?
I like the way he approaches others, how he talks to others, how he takes the sport in such a really influential way, and he has really inspired people all over the world through his wins.
Well, he's obviously very tactical, but more than that, he's mentally tough, and that's something that I see with you, with all your focus on mental preparation. You can see shades of Tiger, and hopefully yung success niya will rub off with you. You have had some injuries, just like Tiger in the past, for a very young girl. So right now, how are you strengthening? How are you preparing your body for the rigors of playing very competitive golf in the very near future?
So I would practice every day. On my rest days, especially on Tuesdays and Saturdays, I would meet my fitness trainer in Focus Alabang, and I would work on plyometrics and on my lower body.
How is your back anyway? Kasi alam ko na-injure ka dyan, di ba? O, kamusta na ngayon?
Opo. About that, this story is really interesting because I just got new clubs, which were heavier than usual.
Correct.
Then I started hitting it around 36 holes every day. And then I think that's just really not really the best way to
correct.
train.
So that your coach obviously has changed your routine just to protect your back and take care of you.
I'm the one who actually wanted to play 36 holes since I wanted to get used to the new clubs.
Oh my goodness.
And that was a big mistake.
Grabe. All right, let's go moving forward as we wrap up this thing. What are your plans? Alam ko that you are scheduled to play in so many tournaments this coming year, no? You have the Seri Pac Desert Classic, the U.S. Girls Juniors Qualifying Tournament, the AJGA Junior at San Diego, California. Are all of these plans pushing through? Are you leaving for the U.S., Rianne, very soon?
I'm leaving early next week. Then I'll be vaccinated there na po. And my first tournament will be at California, again, the Seri Pac. Then I'll be trying to qualify for the U.S. Girls, US Am. Then my last trip in the U.S. would be at New York if I get to qualify.
Playing in what tournament doon, Rianne?
The junior girls qualifying, the U.S. women's qualifying, then other AJGA tournaments.
Wow. Well, you're going to have a very busy schedule, and of course, with your studies, that will really be a lot of toll on you. But we certainly hope that you will be able to get through this. What about the SEA Games? Do you have plans of playing in the SEA Games?
I'm actually unaware how they're gonna handle the qualifying event for SEA Games, and I really don't have the idea.
But if you are available, are you willing to play? Or are you interested
yes,
to play for the Philippines? Kasi alam mo, right now, alam naman natin yung si Ate Yuka mo and Ate Bianca mo are all competing abroad, and Dottie and everyone else trying to make their careers in the LPGA. And obviously, ikaw ang magdadala ng bandila ng Pilipinas. But talking about that, is that also a pathway that you want for your career in the future, Rianne, going and playing in the LPGA? Mukhang nagkaroon tayo ng konting problema. Let's try to get back. Rianne, kung meron pang oras. But wow, what an impressive young girl, young lady na talagang very focused on her golf. 14 na anyos pa lamang po, taon itong si Rianne, and she has already improved so much, no? Again, gusto ko pong pasalamatan lamang si Mr. Adrian Flores, ang editor ng Perfect Drive PH, Abangan nyo pa nga pala yung kanilang second issue ng Perfect Drive PH Golf at yung motoring magazine is now out and will be distributed starting today. Libre po yan, yung Perfect Drive PH sa mga golf clubs. Abangan nyo po yan. Ang kanilang cover ay si Hideki Matsuyama, ang Masters champion, at si Yuka Saso, ang kanila pong magiging cover dun sa magazine na yan. Maraming salamat kay Adrian Flores for arranging this interview with Rianne Malixi. I think we'll leave it at that. Mukhang na nagkaroon ng problema, but we'd like to thank Rianne and we wish her all the best sa kanyang mga susunod na mga competitions. For a young girl, she is making us already very proud at this very early stage of her career. Good luck, Rianne, at maraming salamat, Rianne Malixi, our golf teen prodigy. All right, at this point, mga kaibigan, we will take a quick break. Sa aming pong pagbabalik, makakausap natin si Coach Pat Aquino ng Gilas Women's National Team. Ito po ang Power and Play, hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement at ng Cherry Dome.
Welcome to the Gigalife. Your passions, your stories, your life, simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Gigalife in just one tap. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's D1? Simple, smart, Hagop. Welcome to the Gigalife. Your passions, your stories, your life, simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Gigalife in just one tap. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's the one? Simple, smart, Hagop.
Nagbabalik po ang Power and Play mula kay Boss Sid Ventura. Sabi niya, yun daw po si Yuka Saso ay tabla na sa lamang sa US Women's Open at 5 under. Naku po, pambihira. Unbelievable. Yuka Saso is now tied for the lead and she is on her 11th hole or after the 11th hole. So, marami pa yan lalaruin but pagdasal po natin ang ating kababayang si Yuka Saso. Mamaya po, abangan nyo, meron tayong interview exclusive on Power and Play ng FIBA Asia Executive Director Hagop Khajirian. Maganda po yung usapan namin and alam naman natin na malapit na ang FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers na gaganapin dito po sa Pilipinas, dyan sa New Clark City. Kaya mamaya abangan nyo po yung ating interview with Secretary General ng FIBA Asia, si Hagop Khajirian. Alright. Pinag-uusapan natin ang basketball. Siyempre, hindi lang naman po men's national team ang pinaghahandaan ng SBP. Naghahanda na rin po ang women's national team natin, yung pong Gilas Women's. At yung pong paghahanda na yan ay naghatid kay Coach Pat Aquino, ang head coach ng women's Gilas, all the way dyan po sa Amerika kung saan naghahanap po siya ng mga bagong recruits. And right now, we have with us live from California, walang iba kundi ang head coach ng Gilas Women's, Coach Pat Aquino. Magandang umaga. Ano ba dyan? Gabi na, Coach Pat?
Maggagabi na, Sir Comnoli. Magandang umaga sa iyo.
Thank you so much for taking time out. Alam ko, busy ka eh.
Hindi naman, medyo naghahanap lang ng mga players. Kasi dito, nag-open up na. So, sa Manila, hindi pa eh. So,
gaano ka ba katagal na dyan, Coach Pat?
I've been here siguro mga 1 month na. Almost 1 month. Yeah.
And that has taken you where? Paikot-ikot ka ba dyan?
Yeah, the first was, yung kay Jack Animam. I brought Jack to EWP and it was very exciting for us that, Jack has been, managed now by EWP. So, hopefully yung pagdala namin sa kanya doon would be promising for her career. And syempre yung suporta namin sa kanya todo. And then
correct.
After a while, syempre visited my family na rin while I'm here. And then I went here sa California now, sa LA, regarding dun sa tryouts natin sa mga Division 1 player.
Alright, napapag-usapan yung tryouts na yan, no? Yung napabalita na nga yan. Unang-una, Coach Pat, anong pakay ng tryouts na yan? Is that to get as many players as you can? Ano ba ang isa-sign up nyo na ba yan? What is the purpose of the tryouts right now?
Actually, it's for us to stay. And it's been a long time. And I'm just looking around kung sino yung pwede na or ready na to help us in our national team. I know it's a big step for them kasi dual citizenship and then playing internationally. It not only helped their career in basketball but the experience they will experience, in playing in this kind of tournament. So I'm just excited and happy with of course with Coach Chris of Philippine Nation for doing this and having invited all of those and hopefully we could find players that really willing enough to play for our national color.
Okay, marami yung call-up na ginawa ninyo. Nabanggit mo nga, these are Division 1 players. May mga professionals pa na nagkaroon ng call-up kayo. How is the turnout, Coach Pat? And are you happy and satisfied sa mga dumating?
Actually, we haven't started. We'll be starting in a few minutes pa lang. So,
Okay,
Kong
okay.
Noli.
So,
So,
okay, so
but those
magsisimula na kayo,
people have
okay.
been said that they will be coming. I'm really excited, especially of course Myloni Henson. He's already a professional player from France. She was a former University of Washington alumnus, and she's about 6'1". So I was really excited to see her now.
And Coach Pat, ano magiging proseso ng tryouts? Anong gagawin ninyo today and then tomorrow?
Well, actually, the good thing, Noli, is yung other Phil-Am coaches are here also, and they are
Okay.
willing to to help me
Galing. Galing.
do the practice. So I'm just happy also for them na from all over California na coaches coming in just to help us out also. And I'm just sabi ko nga Noli sa kanila, Coach, anong gusto mo pag... No, I'm just here to watch you guys and learn also. So sabi ko, okay, Coach, sige. Nakakatuwa
Nakakatuwa.
also.
Pero what are you looking for, Coach Pat? Diyan sa mga hopefully ay dadating ngayong araw na ito. Ano ang hinahanap mo? What kind of team are you trying to build? And of course, what kind of commitment are also you looking from these players?
Yeah. Definitely first is the commitment, Noli. And what kind of commitment do I need from them? Is to get their dual citizenship. So the most important. And one thing also that why we're doing this is to also provide information for not only for them but for the parents on how do they get their Philippine or dual citizenship. And secondly, siguro I'm looking forward for the future of women's basketball already. And it's the young ones now. So like the men's are doing it now also. Why not us also? And having inviting all those rookies from different Division 1 colleges. It excites me kasi parang yun na yung future ng Pilipinas. And not only that, it doesn't mean na iiwanan natin yung nasa Pilipinas. Hindi. It will help them also. I mean, na nandun tayo, dahan natin yan.
Alam mo, ang daming magagandang pangalan na nabanggit mo kanina. Of course, si Myloni Henson. Nandyan, of course, si Stephanie Berberabe. Mel Isbel. There are many good players there. And, may mga Division 1 players. May mga nag-beg off pa nga. Of course, sayang sila Chanel Molina, si Vanessa De Jesus. Lahat yan, nakausap din natin dito sa show. Thanks to Phil-Am Nation Select. No? But what do you think, Coach Pat, is the reason bakit ang lakas ng interest ngayon sa Gilas Women's? And, this parang desire to play for our national team?
I think it's just the information that that Phil-Am Nation has brought out also on what we're doing right now. It's again building bridges from Manila to the States and States going to Manila, and with that and social media coming in, it recognizes that there is a women's basketball team, and we and not just the men's team now.
Tama.
Women's are really wanted to participate in that, and I'm just happy that the interest is coming out already, and hopefully more would come out, and and maybe one of these days they play for the national team, and that would be very exciting.
Obviously there are tryouts that will happen. May mga players na mapipick up kayo dyan. But is this going to be exclusive for that? In other words, yung pagbuo ng Gilas Women's Pool, manggagaling lang dyan sa tryout na yan. We know what happened in volleyball. They had a pool, a tryout. Doon lang nanggaling yung kanilang mga players. Are you making this exclusive o are you looking at other players na kahit hindi sumama dyan sa tryouts na yan ay maaaring makasama sa women's pool?
Yeah. Definitely, Noli. It's not hindi typical na pagkawala dito sa us, they're not but I think this is a start of something bigger to happen, and I wish that those people who were not here or that were invited would be coming in the few months, and especially yung ginagawa natin hindi lang to yun. Hindi naman puro Philippines yung papalaroin natin sa Southeast Asian Games or sa FIBA. Kailangan din natin yung locals eh. So locals will be there. I think we're hoping na we could start practicing already in start of the month of July. So so when I come back, talagang we'll be ready for it. Kasi nga, Cognoli, late na kami sa preparation natin for the coming tournaments.
And of course, alam natin din na walang nangyayaring paglalaro ng basketball dito sa ating bansa. Kaya talagang natenga yung ating mga players, no? Sila Janine, sila April, and of course Jack, and everyone else in the women's national team. So I guess the question that is begged is, anong plano ng Gilas Women's? Are you also coming up with your own bubble, or meron ba kayong plano na maglaro overseas instead of here? And kasi masabi mo nga, mas bukas na dyan sa Amerika so that you can involve these players na nakuha ninyo sa tryouts ninyo?
Yeah. Commonly, there's a lot of options right now. One is, syempre, the bubble, which is in Manila. Hopefully, we're really hoping that, Manila open up already. If not in Manila, we'll just go siguro sa mga near provinces like Batangas or Pampanga, Cavite. But the thing is, we really have to start right now. I mean, having this interest from here and then bringing there would excite everybody. And I think that's a very, sabi sa akin, parang good news yun. With all the bad news coming out, sana ito naman yung good news na gawin natin. Puro na lang bad news eh. So, just happy na meron tayong nagagawa dito ngayon muna.
Pero, Coach Pat, kung matutuloy kayo sa training in July and ang bubble, are you already bringing in ito mga makukuha mo dyan sa tryouts? Do you plan na paliparin na sila sa Pilipinas?
Wala pang plan, Comnoli, kasi nga, they're not yet allowed to come over to Manila for now. So, but the thing is, we're trying to figure out the options nga is we would play abroad or we could train abroad, everybody, but we have to start training in Manila first. So once we train in Manila, we could go train abroad already. So that's our initial plans.
Well, we had the breakthrough victory sa Southeast Asian Games, 3x3, 5-on-5, and obviously now we are doing very well in our program, Coach Pat, behind your leadership, behind the leadership ng SPP and the support ng napakaraming tao. What is the next milestone na tinitingnan ng Gilas Women's just to move forward the agenda of women's basketball sa Pilipinas?
Sorry.
I guess ang tanong ko lang is, anong susunod na milestone na tinitingnan ninyo? Ngayon na naka-breakthrough na kayo sa SEA Games, what is the next milestone that you're planning?
Yeah, sa amin, Comnoli, is to really continue what we're doing right now. And I mean, sa Southeast Asian Games, nandun na tayo. Let's stick with that, what's happening with that. Sana ipagpatuloy natin yung pakuha natin ng gold sa SEA Games. And of course, yung FIBA. The FIBA is also important. I think not just the men's is vulnerable with much preparation support. Siguro makakarating din tayo sa Olympics through FIBA tournaments natin.
I guess my final question sa iyo, Coach Pat, is kung sa dami ng talent na available na nakikita mo na ngayon, no? And eventually, hopefully, makakalaro sa atin. Well, let's see. Makakalaro sa atin itong mga talent na to, Coach Pat. How close are we to being consistently competitive sa Asian basketball? Coach Pat? Mukhang nagkakaproblema na sa linya si Coach Pat. I wanted to ask him kung malapit na ba, because I really feel ito na yung breakthrough natin, no? Okay. Coach, can you hear me? Coach Pat? Coach Pat? Medyo nagkakaproblema tayo. Coach Pat is in the venue kung saan po gaganapin na yung tryouts ng women's Gilas, no? So medyo busy rin itong taong ito. But we're very happy to have been able to just get him. Anyway, I think he said a lot. He said about the milestones that they want to achieve, yung kagandahan ng programa nila, and of course, the massive interest ng kababaihan, ng mga players, especially in the US, to finally join and beef up our national team. And we certainly wish him and the rest of the team all the best. We'd like to thank FIBA Nation Select for helping our national team. Kasama po si Chris Gopez, si Coach Chris Gopez, ang founder, at si Alex Cabagnot ng FIBA Nation Select. And we wish all the ladies, all the women trying out there, good luck. Sana walang ma-injure, but more importantly, sana kayo po ay maglaro na sa ating national team just to bring more glory to Philippine basketball. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Coach Pat, thank you so much for your time. All right, at this point, mga kaibigan, balikan muna natin ang ating This Week in Sports History. June 6, 1944, o 77 years ago, ang tagal na nito, huminto ang mundo ng baseball. Hindi dahil sa pandemya o anumang sakuna, kundi dahil sa World War II. Nagtataka kayo bakit war pictures yung nandiyan sa ating screen. Noong panahon na yon, baseball ang isa sa mga pinakasikat na sports laro, o lalo na sa Amerika. Pero lahat ng team owners sa Major League Baseball ay nagdesisyon na kansilahin ang mga laro noong araw na iyon, June 6. Bakit? Dahil sa araw din iyon ang D-Day o yung paglusob ng Allied Forces o pinagsama-samang American, British at Canadian forces sa mga puwersa ng Germany na pinangungunahan noong panahon na yon ng diktador na si Adolf Hitler. Ang D-Day ang isa sa mga mahalagang kaganapan sa World War II. Kaya hindi nakakapagtaka na pati sports nag-timeout din para bigyang dangal ang mga sundalo. Baseball takes a backseat on D-Day this week on Sports History. Alam niyo po, kaya meron ding memorial golf tournament sa Amerika. This is in celebration, in remembrance of D-Day. At yung Memorial Golf Championship ngayon na ginagawa sa Muirfield dyan po sa Ohio ay napakaganda rin na. Lumalamang dyan si Patrick Cantlay. Although nagkaroon sila ng rain delay, maganda po yung labanan yan. At marami pong holiday yata, no? Holiday yata din sa Estados Unidos dahil dyan sa Memorial Day. Kaya siguro si Coach Pat nagpapa-tryout ngayon kasi holiday. Alright, bago po tayo magpatuloy, well, of course, gusto po nating pasalamatan ang Smart Gigalife, ang ating pong pinakabagong sponsor at nakapagtaguyod ng Power and Play. Puso Pilipinas is a movement to celebrate the Filipino athlete powered by Smart. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Get a chance to win exclusive Puso Pilipinas merch by sharing their Facebook page in your social media accounts with hashtag Puso Pilipinas. The Gigalife App is the latest mobile app from Smart that lets you discover and enjoy your passions with the different Giga promos. It can be downloaded and used by Smart Postpaid, Smart Prepaid, Bro Prepaid, and TNT subscribers via the Apple or Google Play Store. What can the Gigalife app do for me? Well, ito po yan Check your balance, monitor your current subscription, top up using debit credit card, subscribe to the latest Giga promos, at monitor your data consumption. Auto-detect your mobile number when you are connected to Smart Network One. Tap subscription to the most popular offer, Giga Video 99. Marami pong salamat sa Smart Gigalife. Napaka-gandang app po yan, and sana po ay patuloy natin suportahan ang lahat ng ating mga tagapagtaguyod ng Power and Play. Alright, at this point mga kaibigan, I think we are ready for our next interview. Alam naman po natin na kakaretiro lamang ni Marc Pingris. Malaki pong balita last week yan. Si Marc Pingris na akin pong nasamahan yan actually. Ako po ang panahon ko po nung pumasok si Marc, and in fact I called him on draft day, and it's just an honor for me to have seen the career of Marc Pingris. Well, kami po ay maswerte dahil nung isang araw po nagkaroon kami ng pagkakataong makausap hindi lamang si Marc Pingris kung hindi ang kanyang may bahay, si Danica Sotto-Pingris. At ito po ang aming panayam kay Pinoy Sakuragi at kay Mrs. Pinoy Sakuragi. Marc and Danica Pingris sa Power and Play. Bago ko tanungin si Marc, Danica, I want to get it from you. Kasi alam naman natin na for every success of a man, andun daw ang isang woman and of course the wife. Pero in this case, may nabasa ko na itong pagre-retiro ni Marc, nasorpresa ka. Totoo ba yun?
Slight. Kasi he's been planning na rin naman na yung retirement niya. I think for parang 2 years ago, medyo nababanggit-banggit niya na parang medyo nire-ready niya na yung heart niya. So sinasabi niya na sa amin. Tapos nagpo-focus na rin kasi siya sa business. So ang dami na inaasikaso. But yung sinasabi ko dun sa mga interview and sa mga tao, hindi ko in-expect na it would be this year. I thought like parang, I mean, na this season, I thought parang magkakaroon pa siya ng one last run. Parang ganyan.
Galing Pangasinan, umuwi ng Manila. Sinabi ko kay Danica na, retired na ako. Parang nakausap ko na sila coach, nakausap ko na yung team. So, doon, nabigla si Danica, umiyak siya.
Kasi nakausap niya na agad sila coach, sila boss. So, sabi ko, so sure na yun. Kasi pag kinausap na, sure na yun, di ba? But, andas nagulat din pala ako kasi nagpapakondisyon pa siya. So he was working out so hard.
Healthy lang naman eh.
Well, healthy person kasi talaga siya.
Marc, alam ko na ever since, and a lot of things have been written about that, ever since bata ka, pinangarap mo na talaga na ang basketball ang magiging paraan, tulay para sa pag-angat sa buhay, no? I think yun ang talagang hamon na hinarap mo. Kung hindi ka naging basketball player, ano naging pangarap mo, Marc? anong nakikita mo outside of that? Or talagang hindi mo nakikita na hindi ka maglalaro ng basketball?
Kasi hindi pa talaga ako naglalaro ng basketball. Gusto ko talaga maging sundalo, bata pa lang ako. Sundalo talaga dahil yung tito ko rin kasi sundalo dati, and then pag tuwing pinapakita niya sa akin mga baril dati, parang ang sarap ng feeling ko, parang gano'n. So sabi ko, tito, gagayahin kita, magiging sundalo din ako balang araw. So, dahil kasi kinukwento niya rin sa akin minsan kung ano yung ginagawa nila. So, na-appreciate ko yung ginagawa niya bilang isang sundalo. So, parang gano'n yung gusto kong gawin.
And Danica, do you see si Marc na may mga katangian outside of playing basketball? Yung pagiging sundalo, sa tingin mo, naging successful si Marc bilang sundalo?
Singer daw.
Singer?
Wish niya lang. Siguro, kasi parang si Marc kasi, pansin ko kasi kay Marc, kapag meron siyang nagustuhan gawin, all in talaga siya eh. Bibigay niya talaga lahat. And he's very family-oriented, close talaga siya sa mga kamag-anak niya, pero kaya rin niyang tiisin if duty calls. So feeling ko baka magiging successful din naman siya as a sundalo. Baka lang hindi ko lang kaya.
Mahirap nga. Mahirap ang may asawang sundalo, sabi nila talaga. But alam ko, Marc, that, first time I ever saw you really play was back in 2003. Commissioner na ako and naimbitahan ang Cebuana Luwilier RP national team sa PBA Invitational. And I was really surprised dahil unang-una hindi pa ako kabisado sa pangalan mo. I thought it was a foreigner at ang itsura mo noon, yung buhok mo, kapal pa na parang sabi ko. Pero in yet, alam mo, napuna ko talaga. It was the passion, the energy, and your athleticism. Pambihira talaga nung panahon na. How, when you look back, Marc, gaano kahalaga yung una mong salta sa PBA sa pamamagitan ng RP team?
Kasi kumbaga, nagbigay din kumbaga good experience ko sa sarili ko. Kumbaga, doon pala nakikita ko, wow, parang grabe na yung level nung laro compare sa, di ba? Sa pro kasi PBA, pag inisip mong PBA, yan ay number 1 sa, sa ating mga Pilipino. So, it's a good experience na marami akong nakuha, marami akong natutunan. But nung na-try ko talaga na makalaro itong mga to, siguro naisip ko talaga na kaya ko balang araw, kaya kong tumapak dito sa
Actually, you had a very good team. Nandun si Celino Cruz. Maraming naglaro, no? Sa PBA after that. Nandun si Willie Wilson, si Ricky Kalimag, si Melbert Omolon, Gary David, and of course, Erwin Soto. So, even that, yun yung batch mo na pumasok sa PBA.
Yes.
Malaki ang exposure na nakuha niyo the year before dahil nakapaglaro kayo
sa confident ng sarili. Hindi lang kasi hindi lang doon sa sa PBA, marami din kaming may mga ibang bansa kaming like nakalaban din namin mga Korea, malalaki din 'yun. Nakipaglaro din kami sa ibang bansa. So, yun yung experience na yun, talagang ginrab ko yung opportunity na yun para mag-grow para isang player na talagang mahinog pa. So, yun.
Alam mo, ang dami nating favorite moments, Danica, ni Pingris. Pamula na naglaro siya ng basketball. And obviously he has already mentioned yung kanyang mga unforgettable moments and highlights sa kanyang career. Ikaw, Danica, what is your favorite Ping moment? Siguro yung talagang nakatatak na sa isip mo, it may not be necessarily a game, but at least it's connected to the PBA.
Yeah. Kung sa game, siguro yung second finals MVP niya. Actually, yung ibang sabi baka daw yung time na yung una niya, di ba? Kasi parang, masyado tayong tweetums nun eh. Kasi ko medyo, grabe kasi yung nangyari dun eh. Parang ito yung kalagitnaan sila ng Grand Slam. And he also just came back from Gilas. So, sobra talaga siyang pagod na pagod. And I know how much he also gave na in Gilas. Tapos, ano ba to? Ito na yung second championship. Yung
2013 Governor's Cup.
Parang second, di ba? Tapos parang nag-free throw siya. Tapos, I remember may mga nagbubu. Tapos maya-maya, after nung may mga nag-boo, may mga nagsigaw na. MV, parang may gumaganon. MVP, gumaganon. Tapos bigla siyang, nakikita ko siya nag-free throw, pero naluluha siya. Hindi, actually, umiyak ka ba? Umiyak na siya. So parang naiyak ako talaga kasi parang, I didn't expect na meron pa siyang ibubuga. Because nga, medyo nabugbog na rin sila sa Gilas nung time na yon. And, nag-MVP pa siya, talagang na-shock talaga
Hindi
ako.
naman ako umiyak dun sa... umiyak talaga ako. Pero hindi dahil sa naririnig ko yun. Gusto ko lang talagang manalo dahil yun yung time na nawala yung pamangkin ko kasi
that's right.
Pinramis ko talaga sa kanya na gagawin ko talaga lahat. That
So
night.
it was a special game.
Special game for me. Yung brother ko talagang nandun siya. Sinama ko talaga siya. So, kaya maano yun, pag nagpasalamat ako sa sabi ko, itong game na to para sa pamangkin ko, parang ganun.
Alam naman natin that because you're very passionate about the game, Mark, you're also very emotional, very sensitive. and that's a terrific trait para sa isang lalaki, I believe. No? Ako, ako sa tingin ko, yun nung talaga nagpapalakas sa paglalaro mo. But balikan ko ng konti lang, Mark. Yung 2004, nung dinraft ka, again, I was very involved in that. I called out your name, number 3 pick back in the 2004 draft. And when you look at that draft list, Mark, dalawa na lang kayo ni James Yap ang naglalaro dun sa listahan na yun. And I can name you some of the gangs. Yung top 10 na nag-draft doon, of course, was Rich Alvarez. Si James came in second, tapos ikaw ang third pick. Tapos si Ranidel, si Sanitos, Denver Lopez, Erwin Soto, Norbert Omolon, Wesley Gonzalez, at si Gary David. Yun yung top 10 noong 2004. what do you attribute your longevity, Mark? Anong naging susi mo? Si Danica, ano?
Oo, malamang siya. Kasi, talagang ko dyan kasi siguro, alam mo yung hard work nung mother ko, yung kahirapan namin, siguro nakuha ko rin yun. Kaya, talagang nakamit ko rin kung saan ako ngayon. Dahil talagang kumayod ako eh. Talagang ginawa ko lahat para lang makapasok sa PBA.
Mm-hmm.
Dahil sa mother ko. Talagang siya yung unang-unang niyakap ko nung tinawag yung name ko at nagpasalamat ako sa kanya. And unang-unang sinabi ko sa kanya, matutupad na yung pangarap natin. So,
very nice.
Ayaw ko kapitawan ng time na yun eh.
Talaga.
Bakit tinatawag ako, uy, akit ka na. Ayaw ko bitawan eh. Pero thank you so much. Thank you sa pag-aalaga mo.
But when you look at that draft class, Mark, anong rating mo doon sa draft class mo na ngayon?
Wow.
When you look at it compared to the others, alam
compared
natin,
the others,
ano sa tingin mo, is it one of the best draft classes sa inyo?
Yes, di ba? Pero for me, parang, alam mo yung kinakabahan ako dahil I don't hindi ko expect yung first round tapos third pick pa ako. And ang ko nun, para pinagpipre ko, sana matawag yung name ko, Pero hindi ko in-expect na gano'n nung tinawag yung name ko. Nanginig talaga ako. Gusto kong tumakbo sa siya. So, sa na yun, sobrang grabe kasi yung talent ng mga kasabayan ko. Talagang may mga shooter, may mas malalaki sa akin. So, pero kilala ko lang talaga doon, kukunti lang. Nakakarap ko rin sa mga PBL.
Oh.
Pero grabe sila. Kumbaga ako is a role player, pero itong mga kasabayan ko, mga star player itong mga to eh.
Oo. Well, Danica, alam natin na sabi ko nga, napakatagal ng career ni Mark, no? Meron bang sikreto si Mark na hindi, something that he does na kaya naman nakita mo how, aside from the fact that he's very determined, sabi nga niya, dedicate niya yung kanyang buong career sa kanyang pamilya, pinangako niya yan sa kanyang ina, sa kanyang kapatid, no? Na siya ay magtatagumpay at mahahango sila sa hirap ng buhay, no? But beyond that, as a wife, as a partner, bago kayo naging, was there something na nakikita mo kagad sa kanya na magtatagal itong tao to, kaya rin medyo siguro nagustuhan mo yung katangian?
Yung pagka-disiplinado niya. Kasi I remember when we were, hindi pa kami mag-boyfriend girlfriend. Parang he was courting me pa lang. Lagi ang nakatingin ko anong oras na. Tapos I lived in QC, he lived all the way in Las Piñas. So pag kunwari mga 6 o'clock, titingin na yan sa relo niya. Tapos ako, coming from showbiz na we sleep late, di ba? Parang total opposite ni Mark.
Late morning na.
Morning na. Madaling araw kami natatapos. So for me, 6 o'clock is very early, di ba? Kasi sabi niya talaga, sabi niya, kailangan ko na umalis. Kasi kalkulado niya yon. Dadaan ako sa coastal road. 2 hours ang biyahe ko. Kain pa ako ng dinner, matutulog ako, ganun. Kasi he wakes up very early. Kasi si Coach Ryan Gregorio, very strict also sa mga late. So, kalkulado niya yan, Kom. So, nung nakikita ko na ganun siya, sabi ko, wow, parang nakaka-impress naman tong tao na to. Kasi it's so tempting to hang out with your barkada or to hang out with a girl na nililigawan mo at that time, di ba? Parang you'll do everything to impress the person. Pero siya, nandun yung, okay, nadalaw na kita, pero I have to keep yung priorities ko din. So, doon ako din natuwa. Nasa ko, wow.
Mark, mahirap ba yun? Mahirap ba yung sinasabi mo?
Mahirap na masaya. Ganun talaga kasi gusto ko dati, kailangan 9 hours yung tulog ko or 8.
Yun, kalkulado niya ko yung tulog niya. Pati weight niya, binabantayan niya. Tapos, naalala ko, nag-shoot pa kami. Parang naaawa ako sa kanya, ayaw yung umalis. Tapos parang gaganon siya sa akin from afar na. Parang, I have to go. So parang sa ko, wow, grabe yung disiplina ng taong ko. So, yun, naisip-isip ko din, malayo ngay mararating niya.
Kaya naman talagang malayo narating at talaga naman makikita mo na endeared, talagang napamahal siya talaga sa napakaraming tao. Mark, another moment na sinabi mo sa isang interview mo na sticks out is of course yung 2006 na championship, yung una mong championship sa PBA, that was the Philippine Cup, kung saan ikaw rin ang finals MVP. Alam mo, ang nakakatuwa doon is, ang idol mo is Michael Jordan. Sabi mo daw, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Pero ikaw, you were a defensive player. Sa tingin mo ba, ang mga defensive players, hindi nabibigyan ng ganong kadaming recognition? Dahil hindi naman sila spectacular pero mas karapat dapat
sa team. Yun ang malaking bagay.
Ano tingin mo doon, Mark?
Laking bagay kasi sa ano yan parang hindi kasi na ikitaan minsan ng mga, sorry to say this, yung mga coach na akala nila panay superstar lang. Pero you know what, laking bagay din talaga siguro ang role player. Like sila Rodman, di ba? Talagang kasabay kasi yan yung Bulls na yan dati, sila Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman. Gusto ko itong mga player na to Nung time na yun na nung nag-PBL kasi ako, ang daming mga shooters, sila James, marami mga shooters sa amin. So, inano ko na lang, pinag-aralan ko na lang talaga kung ano talaga yung talent ko talaga. Talagang doon ako nag-focus yung rebound and defense. Talagang doon talaga ako focus. So, nung kinuha ko ni Coach Ryan, talagang pasalamat ako na talagang kinausap niya ako. And also, sinabi niya talaga kung bakit kinuha sa team. Hindi dahil sa score or dahil gusto ko yung sa sipag mo, sa rebound mo, sa defense mo. So, doon, mas yun, okay, mas naintindihan ko yung basketball, mas naintindihan ko kung ano yung trabaho ko sa team. Kaya, pinaghandaan ko yun. Pagkatapos ng practice, talagang extra workout, gano'n. Dahil, sabi ni Coach, kunin mo yung defensive team, parang ganyan. Kunin mo yung mga award na ganyan. Kasi sa MVP or sa mga, maraming magagaling dyan So, ikaw, kunin mo yung ganyan, So, okay, pinagandaan ko talaga yun. Doon talaga ako nag-focus talaga. Kaya, noong 2006, nung nag-champion kami, I don't expect na talaga na mag-MVP ako dahil pinag-pray ko nung gabing yun na sana maganda yung shooting ni James. Alam mo yan, pinag-pray namin maganda yung shooting nila Kirby, lahat ng mga namin. And also, pinag-pray ko na, Lord, sana bigyan mo magandang defense and rebound. Yun lang. Kaya sobrang nagulat ako nung tinawag ako nung MVP ako.
And yet, you scored 21 points nung final game, and ikaw nga naging finals MVP. And again, sabi nga nila, one of the greatest performances ni Marc Pingris yun. Of course, the Grand Slam, nabanggit ni Danica, is another highlight of your career. At si Coach Tim Cone, naging ang coach mo nung nag-Grand Slam kayo, nagsalita that you are the standard of every player dapat. Ano reaction mo doon, Mark? And coming from a great coach, kagaya ni Tim Cone, anong reaction mo din, Danica?
It's an honor, sobrang blessed ako na nanggaling kay Coach Tim Cone yan. Naman si Coach, kumbaga, siya na yung greatest coach sa PBA, di ba? So, humble talaga ako na nagpapasalamat sa kanya. Hindi ko rin naman makukuha yung mga Grand Slam na yan kung hindi dahil sa kanya, yung turo niya rin sa akin Kung hindi niya ako tinutukan, kung hindi niya ako talaga pinaliwanag sa akin. Kasi mas kumbaga yung idea, yun, paano explain yung IQ mo sa basketball, mas lumaki nung nakausap ko si Coach Tim, nung ini-explain niya sa akin pakunti-kunti. So, yun, honor talaga na nanggaling kay Coach Tim yun. Wala akong masabi kundi thank you, Coach Tim, I love you.
Danica, gaano kalaking karangalan yun? To be the standard of every player coming from the winningest coach ng PBA.
Yeah. Actually, ako yung nakabasa. Somebody sent it to me. Tapos, naluha ako. Tapos, I showed it to him.
I love Coach Tim Cone.
Tapos sabi niya, grabe naman. Parang gumanon lang siya. Tapos, syempre, nakaka-proud talaga na, and you feel, parang lalo kang, you're humbled by yung mga ganyan na comments. Tsaka, alam mo naman na hindi naman din dahil, tama siya, hindi naman dahil din sa kanya yun eh. Dahil din sa, syempre, tulong ni Lord, saka yung mga nag-mentor din sa kanya all through these years.
Alam mo, obviously marami pang moments si Ping sa PBA na pwede natin balikan, but of course we're running out of time. Pero I want to ask the two of you, ano ang maganda na gustuhan ninyo bilang PBA player, Mark, at ikaw, Danica, bilang isang asawa ng isang superstar sa PBA? At ano naman yung hindi niyo nagugustuhan dun sa status ninyo as a basketball royalty, basketball couple ng PBA? I'll begin with you, Danica, siguro.
Ano yung nagustuhan ko?
Sa PBA?
Bilang like a wife of a basketball player? Siguro yun na I feel happy, I feel proud na he's able to contribute also to yung ganyan, to the country, na kapag nakakapag-inspire siya ng mga kabataan, I feel so proud. Tapos kapag may mga lumalapit sa'yo, mga pabata, matanda na sasabihin na, nako, parang na-inspire ako sa buhay niya, maraming salamat dahil sa kanya, nagpursige ako sa buhay. Yun na parang people put you on a pedestal eh, nagiging isa kang magandang ehemplo. And for me, yung maganda doon is nabibigyan ka ng pagkakataon magamit yung platform na yon sa tamang paraan. Hindi parang magyabang-yabang ka na, sikat ako, hindi ganon. You have a parang a responsibility, and I like that. Hindi naman nape-pressure ba tayo? Hindi naman. You feel nga parang natutuwa ka pa na ganon.
Pressure lang ng finals lang.
Yung ayaw ko.
Finals lang.
Ano ayaw mo naman?
So injury.
Ayun. Yun.
Traits. Ang traits.
Traits na gusto sa kanya? Traits niya?
Hindi, mahirap ba yung, kasi of course, si Mark naman, isang beses lang naman ito na-trade. Pero bumalik din naman sa pure footstoy. More injury than trade. More yung ayoko. Na syempre parang always a risk of them really getting hurt so bad. So yun lang yung ayoko. Tsaka yung ang haba-haba ng therapy kapag ganun. Yun lang naman. Yan po mga kaibigan ng parte ng ating panayam kay Marc and Danica Pingris. Medyo we had to cut it a little shorter dahil marami pa naman nabanggit doon. But of course, ang highlights po ng kanyang career ang naging topic po natin. And of course, yung suporta mismo ng kanyang may bahay na si Danica sa kanyang career kay Marc. And what a career it has been. Congratulations again kay Marc Pingris sa kanyang pagreretiro. Nabanggit nga niya yung kanyang pagninegosyo. Sabi niya, ang kanyang pinasok na negosyo ay poultry. At silang dalawang mag-asawa magtutulungan doon. And of course, meron silang pinaplanong itayong resort sa Pangasinan. So, nakakatuwa at talagang napakaraming aral ang dapat mapulot sa buhay ni Marc Pingris na nagsumikap, naghangad na maiangat ng kanilang buhay sa harap ng kahirapan at nagtagumpay sa pamamagitan ng hard work, ng passion, and of course, yung puso attitude na dinala niya sa Gilas Pilipinas. Congratulations, Marc! Maraming salamat, Danica, sa iyong suporta. Alright, mga kaibigan, we will take a quick break sa aming pong pabalik ang aming interview sa FIBA Asia Executive Director Hagop Khajirian sa Power and Play hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement at ng Cherry Loom.
Welcome to the Gigalife. Your passions, your stories, your life, simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Gigalife in just one app. Experience more Giga moments when you make the pose. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's D1? Simple, smart, Hagop. Welcome to the Gigalife. Your passions, your stories, your life, simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Gigalife in just one tap. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's D1? Simple, smart, Hagop.
Mabilis na pasasalamat bago natin po ipasok ang ating susunod na panauhin sa ating mga tagapagtaguyod. Una po sa listahan, of course, Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay. Nandito na ang Big Boss Cement, di basta matitibag, approved sa kalikasan at sobrang abot kaya. Big Boss Cement is the first eco-friendly cement company in the Philippines. First and only cement that is produced with low to 0% of high carbon footprint materials. Big Boss Cement. Marami pong salamat sa ating kaibigang si Engineer Gilbert Cruz, ang Pangulo at Chief Company Innovator ng Big Boss Cement. Marami din po salamat sa Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Sa ganitong pabago-bago ang panahon, lalo na tag-ulan na po mga kapatid. Sobrang init tapos biglang uulan, kailangan natin ng matibay at protektadong bubong. Dapat ang bubong ay yerong may aluminum. Kapag may aluminum, tsak na pang matagalan. At isa lang ang alam kong dekalidad na yerong may aluminum, yan ang Cherry Loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero. Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Marami pong salamat sa aking kaibigang si Elmer Ngo mula sa Cherry Loom. Marami din po salamat sa Elms Resto Bar Group, home of fried eating, with the branches at Elms Tapas and Winery located in Cali Bistro, Commonwealth, Quezon City, at sa Elms Grill and Bar sa Poblacion, Makati. You may call their mobile number 0977-157-0499 o di kaya bisitahin ang kanilang Facebook at IG pages sa Elms Resto Bar Group for reservations and inquiries. Thank you to Ma'am Maluyambao. Thank you also sa Joyride, ang bago ninyong kasundo. Dahil ayaw naming nahihirapan ka, book Joyride Motorcycle Taxi now and experience hassle-free commute. Kapag delivery naman, Joyride ang gamitin, bagsak presyo pero hindi ang serbisyo. Joyride is now on its lowest rates ever. Available also in the province of Laguna. And of course, bukas na po ang JR Mall. So download the latest super app ng Joyride. Thank you also to Makalaj Professional, your school of makeup artistry, the official makeup of Power and Play. And of course, sa Skin, your face and body anti-aging center with branches at Wilson Street, sa San Juan City at sa Alabang Town Center sa Muntinlupa City. For inquiries, please call 0917-890-1640. Thank you so much kay Doc Richie at Dr. G. Sarmiento. And of course, Smart Gigalife. Marami pong salamat sa inyong suporta sa Power and Play. Alright, at this point mga kaibigan, gusto ko kagad ipasok ito. Ang aming exclusive interview with the man at the helm of FIBA Asia. Walang iba kundi ang Executive Director ng FIBA Asia. Walang iba kundi si Mr. Hagop Khajirian.
You know, we have not hit basketball since the PBA ended last year.
And we are just excited as a nation to finally welcome back basketball to the Philippines. And of course, I'm talking about the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers that will happen in Clark, Pampanga, Philippines, beginning on June 16, where we welcome 9 teams to compete for the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. Mr. Khajirian, how are the preparations? Are you satisfied so far with what the host has done for the upcoming qualifiers?
Actually, the credit has to be given to the National Federation and its administration, Mr. Panlinio and Mr. Barrios, who helped us a lot. And whenever, not for the qualification, but for any event, if think of having it in Philippines, they were ready to host any event. And the first opportunity is the coming qualifications. The preparations are good, and unfortunately, as you said, we will not have crowd attending the games to see closely the performance of the big names of Asia, like China, Korea, Japan, Chinese Taipei, surely with Philippines and others. The Clash of the Titans will take place in Philippines, in New Clark City. But surely you will be able to watch all the games through TV. This is, as you said, the qualification for the big show, which will take place later on in Indonesia. But we face some difficulties, but the National Federation, the leadership, and other than the National Federation, I have to thank Mr. Pangilinan for assisting the National Federation to solve problems directly concerning COVID-19 and the restrictions in Philippines. And we got so many exemptions and were allowed not to pass through so many hurdles to be in Philippines. So we are happy to be back. Still, we are facing some problem, but nothing to do with the locals. Nothing to do with the locals, but with just to give an example, ticketing. It's very difficult to book or to even purchase tickets, and we are working on that till now, just 10 days before our arrival to the Philippines.
Well,
but everything is in place. Administrative place.
I want to touch on that point because we know that this was supposed to have been played in Qatar, but because of the surge in cases there, this had to be postponed. And of course, the Philippines offered to host, and it is now going to be played on June 16 in Clark. And as you know, there are still, of course, some cases in the Philippines. We are still battling the COVID-19 pandemic here in the country, and new quarantine restrictions have been imposed. As you said, even our airports are limited in terms of the passengers that come in. But is there any concern? Are there concerns from FIBA Asia about the continuing rise in cases in the Philippines, Mr. Khajirian?
No, actually, we are going to play according to a protocol which is approved by FIBA and it's prepared in cooperation with the International Olympic Committee, IOC, and WHO, World Health Organization officials. We have a protocol in place, which we applied during our different games and national championships. We advise the National Federation to apply it, but we apply it 100% during our championships in different continents or the qualification that we play. This protocol will be adopted and will be applied in Philippines also, where we use 2 fixed bubble and 1 moving bubble. We call them bubble. The first bubble is the hotel where the players stay. The second bubble is the arena where we play and practice. And the moving bubble is the transportation mean that the players or officials use to go from one place to another. Actually, only the two bubbles, they cannot go out. So it is isolated fully, where all the delegations stay, have their meals, move from that bubble to the other bubble where they play and go back. So, and before arrival, we have double tests, PCR test, and upon arrival, we have a third test. And every other day, if there is the need, we do the test again and again so that we secure the health and we protect our players and we try to minimize their risk as much as possible.
All right.
This is the procedure that we adopt.
Well, this, of course, also was done by the PBA very successfully, I might say, wherein there was almost 100% no cases in the PBA bubble that was happened last year. But Mr. Khajirian, outside of those that you've already mentioned, what other health and safety protocols is FIBA Asia going to be imposing? For instance, is there going to be a quarantine protocol? And are vaccinations going to be required for the athletes?
Not necessarily concerning vaccinations, but we recommend all our athletes to have vaccinated, the double shots or triple shots if they have to take. And before coming, if it's possible, you know, we cannot force or oblige people to take the vaccination. It's up to them, but we cannot have that as a condition. But as a recommendation, we recommended all our athletes to get vaccinated. If any case happen, we are very firm. As I said, the priority here comes to the health and the security of the players. We don't take any risk. If any player or any person from delegation tested positive, we directly isolate all the close contact with the team. We do tests for whole delegation, and after receiving negative results, we let the team to continue playing the game. Or else they will be asked to get isolated, and according to the local procedure, the local in Philippines in this case, to follow the local procedure, there is quarantine of 10 days or 14 days. They have to go through that before leaving the country.
And obviously, when the tournament starts, and God forbid there are cases, will the FIBA rules apply in terms of the minimum number of players that will have to play, and will the games continue despite the cases that might happen?
Yes, there is. We consider that case, and if such things happen, we take the necessary decision.
All right.
And to guarantee that the team can continue to play and to perform with the needed number of the players.
All right. Mr. Khajirian, I also noticed that there are some teams that have opted not to go to the qualifiers. What is the decision of FIBA Asia with respect to teams that do not play in the qualifiers?
Okay, we consider case by case, and if there are valid reasons for the teams not to participate, we consider the case. And if the presented arguments are not convincing, we urge the teams to play. If not, we penalize them financially, and sometimes we go further than that by taking the suspension decisions. Cases like Australia, to take an example, the government forbid any visitors from entering the country and leaving the country at the same time, just for special cases, and after they return, they go through the quarantine of 14 days or even longer period. So we consider such cases, and if as I said, we are convinced by the excuses or the reasons given for not playing, we take the proper decision.
We know, Mr. Khajirian, that the pandemic continues to surge on, although there are many countries now in the Americas and of course in Europe that are beginning to play. How has this pandemic affected the programs of FIBA Asia in particular?
I will brief my answer, just presenting case of our age group tournaments.
Yes, that's right.
Where our future stars performed to their best. Unfortunately, we were not able to organize our under 18 championship last year, under 16 championship in 2019. This was very disappointing for me personally, because as I enjoy the senior men or women games, the championships, where the top level basketball we watch, but I enjoy equally the under 16 and under 18 men and women, boys and girls events. Unfortunately, we were not able to organize this interesting event, which in case of Asia, it takes place every other year for under 16. Let's say in 2019, we were not able to organize the two under 16 championships. In 2020, we were not able to organize the two under 18. Hopefully now we have on schedule two under 16 championship, and I don't know if we are able to organize them or not, but we are trying our best to organize. Just to give the chance of this basketball lovers, the youngsters, to play and to get qualified or just enjoy playing the Asian Championship, but to give the chance also for 4 teams to get qualified to the World Championship.
Right, right.
So we are affected, yes. I'm not talking about the commercial side, the income and all this. No, this can be compensated. But you cannot compensate for a boy or a girl who is 16 years old. You cannot compensate. They will not be once more 16-year-old to play the game, to represent their country. So this touches me, actually. Yeah. And this is the biggest loss that we are suffering, I think.
Well, as you know, in the Philippines, we have no amateur sports being played. And even our collegiate sports, particularly basketball, has not played for over a year now. And clearly, you know, as you said, it is not so much the commercial side, but it is the time lost for these players who are not going to remain in their youth for very long, and yet they're not able to play. But you know, talking about that, Mr. Khajirian, on the other side of the spectrum, we have seen a tremendous rise in basketball talent in Asia that are now competing in the world stage. We have seen a lot of NBA players coming from Asia, and of course, in the bigger leagues in Europe as well as in Australia. How do you see the significance of this in terms of the growth of basketball in this region?
As you know, basketball, especially in Europe and Americas, are more advanced than what we have in Asia. And having the opportunity to play in these two continents, especially North America, I mean USA, and in Europe, it reaches the player in getting experience, in playing with colleagues who grew up by playing basketball with different mentality, different school, the American school or European school. And after reaching to a certain level, playing few years, coming back and joining their national team, this is very interesting and very important process which can be considered as one of the means to improve the level of basketball in Asia.
There's another aspect there, Mr. Khajirian, and this is player eligibility. We have seen that certain programs have been developed by countries wherein they are allowed to bring in naturalized players and to beef up their program, to hasten the growth of their program. Is this something that FIBA Asia continues to push in its agenda with FIBA World? And is there a chance that this can even be strengthened in the future for many of the developing countries in Asia?
We are applying nowadays the regulation which is adopted by FIBA. There is one regulation. There is no FIBA Asia regulation or FIBA Africa regulation. There is one regulation. We have one rule book, FIBA internal regulation. And this is what we apply. And having some players from other countries with local origins, let's say, needs some well-prepared program.
Mm-hmm.
It is not that you can get any player from any place and join it to your national team.
Right.
There are certain criteria, there are certain requirements. Among this one, let me mention one, that any player who will play with the national team must acquire the nationality of that country before age of 16. If they are above 16 and they acquire the nationality, they will play as naturalized player and not local player, even if the local rules and regulation allow him to obtain the nationality. But according to FIBA regulation, they have to acquire the nationality before age of 16.
So
we are not saying, we are not saying that these players do not hold the local nationality. Let's say, to give an example, from my country, they can be Lebanese and at the same time they can be Americans. But if they want to play with the Lebanese national team, an American player must acquire the nationality before age of 16. He can obtain the Lebanese nationality. He can have two nationalities. But when playing basketball, he will play with the national team of Lebanon as naturalized. And each national team can have only one naturalized player.
Well, I'll go to a point that is very close to the heart of the Filipino, and obviously that is the what we call here the Hagop rule, which is having to play before you're 16 years old. I know it's not yours, but that's the way it is. It has been known here in the Philippines. But to a more specific matter, is there a chance that FIBA, or is there a move for FIBA to review these rules that may allow players who have blood relationships, connections in their country? In law, it is called jus sanguini. That players who have a blood connection can actually be allowed to play as a local for their country.
We are open for change of rules if the proposals or the logic of presented proposals can help developing basketball worldwide. Considering the naturalized players, we always and everybody has to take into consideration to keep the balance between naturalized players and the local players. The main purpose is to develop the basketball in the country, to develop local players in each country. The others who join with acquiring or getting the nationality must not be adopted for good, or else you will never develop basketball in your country, in any country. I'm not talking about Philippines. So even if there are proposals to study the cases and the possibility of increasing the number of naturalized players in any national team, we have to take into consideration does this change help developing basketball worldwide? Does this change help improving the national the basketball on national level? So these are our concerns, and not the individual cases if we can do this or that. So,
Right.
as administrator, I'm sure that even in Philippines, when you are ready to, let's say, make any change within your local rules, you take into consideration what is good for Philippines, for the basketball of Philippines. The same approach you will see in FIBA.
All right. Well, I know it's a difficult matter, and I'm sure that this will be studied as it develops. Many things change in the course of time, and I'm sure FIBA will always do things for the best interest of basketball. As a final shot, Mr. Khajirian, we know that, as I mentioned in the beginning, the Philippines has gone through a lot. And now we are enjoying, the fruits of the labor of many people who have worked hard to make the Philippines a bona fide and a good member in standing of FIBA. What do you still want to see from the federation, Mr. Khajirian, in the future? How do you see the growth of the Philippines, and how do you want it to become a more vibrant member of FIBA Asia?
Look, I'm happy to see recently the close cooperation between the National Federation and PBA for the first thing, adopting the championship schedule in PBA, different championships,
Right.
different tournaments that you have in order not to directly or indirectly obstacle the performance of the national team and this performance on international level. Something which was not there before 5, 6, or 10 years. Nowadays, it is there, and I'm happy for that. And the results that Philippines, where basketball is secondary.
Yan po mga kaibigan ang panayam natin kay Mr. Hagop Khajirian, ang FIBA Asia Executive Director. Thank you very much kay Mr. Sedarian. Inayos po ito. At of course kay Enzo Flojo, who helped me get this interview from Hagop Khajirian. Again, he talked about Philippine basketball, yung Hagop rule na sabi niya, hindi yan akin FIBA yan. Pero let's see. Hopefully that develops into something more positive para sa ating lahat. Marami po sana tayong babasahin, yung mga nagpadala ng kanilang pulso, pero nauubusan na po tayo ng oras. Pangako po, kung may oras tayo sa susunod na linggo, ay babanggitin pa rin natin. A lot of people, si Rui Nadalo, sabi lang niya, let Kiefer play in B.League. Please, PBA. Talagang galit na. No, so, pero again, we will tututukan po natin yung kwentuhan na yan. By the way, yung mga nakatutok din kay Yuka Saso, she is #1 right now in the second round ng US Women's Open with a 1-stroke lead going into the 16th hole. So pagdasal po natin ang ating kababayang si Yuka Saso playing in a golf major championship dyan po sa San Francisco. Di paano, tapos na naman po ang isa na namang edisyon ng Power and Play. Kami po nagpapasalamat sa inyo lahat na patuloy na sumusuporta at nakatutok sa amin. Susunod na po sa 1PH ang inay ko po. Sa ngalan po sa lahat sa amin dito, lagi po namin sinasabi sa inyong mga gawain, ad maiorem Dei gloriam, all for the greater glory of God. Kami ang 1PH, teleserbisyo para sa Pilipino. Marami po salamat. Happy sports weekend mga kapatid. More power, more play.
Welcome to the Gigalife. passions, your stories, your life, simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Gigalife in just one tap. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's the one? Simple, smart, ako.